Thanks, Jeremy. And like Jeremy said, my name is Jacob Scott, and I'll be doing the communications plan aspect of the presentation. For effective communication plans, uh, they play a role in adaptation of organizations to their new environment and provide guidance on managing conflict and crisis and act as a compass for complex decision making. Nothing is surprising about the fact that organizations are transforming into more open, responsive ones. Rapid changes in competition, demand, technology, regulations have made it more important than ever for organizations to be able to respond and adapt quickly. And this was cited from Salud 2017. The creation and merger of the Global Education Access Solutions team is to aggressively penetrate the growing North American privatized student housing market. The success of the Global Education Access Solution will rely on how effectively the team integrates the communications with existing internal stakeholders and customers, and how quickly product development can expand the existing product portfolio to meet changing market conditions. Developing and implementing a communication plan for Global Education Access Solutions internal stakeholders is paramount for influencing organizational strategic decision-making, developing team cohesion and productivity, and alignment cross-functional teams with shared responsibility for becoming the market leader in privatized student housing. All right, moving on to the next slide. The purpose of a communications plan. A strong communications plan will help managers set expectations successfully, which orchestrates a diversion group of cross-functional employees. Communications plans need to be unique and cohesive. A communications plan is a policy-driven approach to providing company stakeholders with certain information. And this was cited from HANA 2022. They also help teams clarify goals and objectives. Creating this plan as a team will help team cohesiveness because of the work went into the play by the group. So will the follow of the plan. It is used as a roadmap to indicate in what direction to go and how to get there. Additionally, it speaks to the relationship between audience, the message, what channels will be used, the activities, the materials for the project. Plans are used in a variety of ways, such as crisis management, as well change management. An effective communication plan and strategy can help decrease the resistance to change by having everyone at the same page and help the stakeholders be more involved. Communication plans are very important for a team to create and for a business to follow. An effective communication plan anticipates what information needs to be communicated to specific audience segments. And this was again cited by HANA 2022. They help lessen the chance of potential crises and even mitigate one. The design of the plan would also improve efficiency and create workflow. And the communication plan should also be relevant to who and what will receive the communications and how the feedback can be delivered and given, and how all communication is documented and saved. The plan needs to be reviewed regularly and updated if necessary. Finally, cited by HANA 2022. All right, now looking at the overall reason for Global Education Access Solutions team to have a communications plan. All right, the reason is because they're trying to aggressively penetrate the growing North American privatized student housing market. The success of our company, Global Education Access Solution, will rely on how efficiently the team integrates communication with existing internal stakeholders, customers, and how quickly the product development can expand the existing product portfolio. We discussed that a little bit already in the brief purpose of the communication plan itself. But just drawing more light to it is what that purpose was. All right, moving on to slide 3. General background information. As Global Education Access Solution generates demand in partnership with privatized developers, owners, and managers, it is critical to have communications plans with the global development and executive leadership teams from both business segments that is in an active state and utilized to respond to a rapid request for new products to serve growing North American privatized student housing markets. Changing market conditions in the privatized student housing markets are going to require new product development. The Global Education Asset Solutions product development team resides in Stockholm, Sweden, and has a pipeline of existing projects supporting global needs unrelated to the North American privatized student housing market. As the sales team for Global Education Asset Solutions and supporting team members generate demand and partnerships with privatized developers, owners and managers need to communicate plans with the global development and executive leader teams from both business segments. This is an active state and is utilized to respond to rapid requests for new products to serve the growing North American privatized student housing. All right. Moving on to a quick communication plan briefing. The communication plan for Global Access Solutions will include the following information: establish team stakeholders and identify who should contact should a crisis arise. 2, outline where we can sell the solution, where can only sell into the student housing market or other markets, so that other markets are off limits. So essentially, we're prioritizing the student housing market. We aren't looking at any other type of market. That is what we are focusing on. 3, which customers and stakeholders do we position the Global Education Access Control Solutions products with? 4, how do your internal stakeholders respond to existing customers inquiring about the Global Education Access Solutions? And then 5, what happens if we have channel partners quote the Global Education Access Solutions product to existing customers or prohibited markets? These are all things that we would want to discuss in our communications plan and be able to establish dialogue and a set of things that could happen and solutions for it using our communications plan. A lack of connectivity for teams, companies, and culture can pose several problems for Global Education Access Solutions. When employees have trouble collaborating because of the information is trapped in silos, hidden, or hard accesses, they can't do their job best to their ability. And this was taken from the Harvard Business Review 2021. By having a communication plan for complex decision-making and conflict crisis management, Global Education Access Solutions can become more agile in their quest to be a market leader servicing the privatized student housing market. An example of our communication plan that will be utilized by Global Education Access Solution will be highlighted on the next slide. All right, moving on to the next slide. As you can see, this is Global Education's Access Solutions communication plan. It touches everything from complex decision-making, new product development decision-making process, project summary, communication goals, stakeholder information, who, what, when, where, why, and just various other aspects that need to be discussed for optimal communication within our company and organization. So, after looking at this, we can see that we've communicated well, we've established things, and we have a clear conscious and goal that everybody can be on board with a communication plan being set in motion. Moving on to the next slide, we're going to look at potential conflicts and crises that can come about and how to handle those. Excuse me. Potential conflicts and crisis management. The price point of Global Education Access Solutions may disrupt existing higher price points established by door security solutions. The new offering can create conflict in certain situations where we have a privatized student housing property being built on the campus where door security solutions products exist on student housing buildings. It is critical that Global Education Access Solutions develop a unique communication plan focused on clearly identifying expectations and responding to conflict or crisis in the field. A crisis can occur when least expected and is the most inconvenient time. Planning for the worst case scenario is only making sure when something does go wrong, the entire group knows the plan and works together to combat the issue. A crisis communication plan should include the standard of being honest and transparent, consistent and timely, as well as authentic in how it is communicated. And this was, I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher this, cited by Vascellos 2022. And then just wrapping up this presentation with an overall, well, not the presentation, my section of the presentation, the communication plan. We're going to be looking at the importance of the crisis communication plan. So the importance of the crisis communication plan is this. A crisis communication plan should include the standards of being honest and transparent, consistent, and timely and authentic. That was touched on the previous discussion about potential conflicts in crisis management. And that was cited by Vascellos 2022. And the reason for having this, by having a communication plan for complex decision making and conflict and crisis management, global education asset solutions can become more agile in its quest to be market leaders servicing the privatized student housing market, which we also discussed is why we have the communications plan in the first place. So, as you can see, a communications plan is very beneficial for an organization. But with communication plans, you have to have a conflict and crisis management backup plan and how to handle situations that could potentially be risks to your communication plan and could hinder things. With that being said, I appreciate you for coming to my portion of the project, and I will be turning it over to Jessica, and she'll be wrapping things up. I appreciate you for your time, and have a good rest of your day.